Right now on the final episode of HHS In Depth this school year, we sit down with Principal Dr. Ginder, hear his thoughts as the district prepares to leave for the summer. Plus, as the year comes to a close, meet the graduation speakers and the plans for supply and pickup return. And as the state continues to reopen, hear what local residents are saying about the process. And thank you for joining us on the final episode of the school year. I'm Ashton Hackman. As summer draws closer, the nation is eager to get back to normal life. The state of Indiana is continuing on with the reopening plan as the number of coronavirus cases in the state approaches 30,000. We are currently in Phase 2. However, the state advances to Phase 3 beginning Sunday. That would allow social gatherings of up to 100 people to take place with social distancing, and retail stores may move to 75% capacity while also following the guidelines. We will break down the community's response later in the show, but we begin with the exclusive sit-down with Principal Dr. Ginder. As the year comes to a close, you will hear plans for graduation as well as updates on the construction project. Here's Caleb Wood.
With the recent pandemic bringing many changes to the school year, it's no doubt that this year will be looked back upon in the future. Principal Dr. Ginder sees this year as a way to look at what is important and adjusting during uncertain times.
10, 20, 30 years from now, it'll be very interesting. I think it will be the same way we remember other things. Our perspective will be colored by who we are at the time. But I think the key for us as a school community, and for schools in general will be what happens to learning and education after this.
Being forced to adjust is not always easy, but many students and staff have found new and creative ways to continue learning and connecting with each other.
I think one of the things we learned is how much everybody cares for each other. And number two, I think what we learned was how well we were been able to do things. I think we also learned how much our students value their own education. We found that a simple phone call could get a kid going again.
As the principal of Homestead High School, even Dr. Ginder has had to make changes and communicate to make important decisions.
It is hard to understand how much of a school environment is a team activity. There isn't one person making decisions. So as we develop any kind of plan, there's all kinds of conversations going into it.
While many events have been postponed or canceled, the renovation of Homestead High School remains on schedule, with construction starting as early as this June.
Because there aren't students here, we would have hoped we could have moved faster. But timelines in the construction business, those don't move much faster even though we're not here. Now, work is going to start the very 1st of June inside the building. We're going to start tearing some things up.
With many upcoming changes to the existing site, it is no doubt that parking will become a problem as space is taken over.
Well, there's going to be some new lots. Old lots are lost. One of the very first buildings that's going to be built is our new Cleat Sports Building. Locker room spaces, our alternative school, our school corporation clinic goes in that, and that sits in a parking lot. So we're going to lose parking. Sophomores shouldn't expect to drive unless seasonally we will be giving seasonal passes. So if you're playing football, if you're in the marching band and you're in season, there'll be some sophomores that can drive during that season.
The class of 2020 will not have to leave without saying goodbye. The Homestead staff are working hard to put on a graduation ceremony right here on the Homestead turf.
Graduation will be on our football field, July 8th and 9th, with students arriving at school at 7. And then we're going to walk at 8. There's not going to be a whole lot of practice. We're going to keep it simple. And we're going to social distance, so the students will be spread out. The event is actually limited to just parents. So most families will get 2 tickets. A few families that may have step parents will get 4. But other than that, nobody else will be here, and you have to have a ticket to even get in the parking lot.
Even with limited seating, there is still a way for anyone to view the ceremony.
The team from HHS ID is going to take care of that. There'll be multiple cameras. It should be produced very, very well, given the amount of time and practice that will go into that, the equipment that's going to be used. I think everybody's going to be really, really pleased with the product that they're able to put on YouTube that night, or on both nights, actually.
As the school year comes to an end, Dr. Ginder leaves the seniors with a few words of encouragement.
It's hard to be a senior this year, but I wouldn't dwell on the change or the difficulty. What I would have our kids, all kids, think about are the victories of 3.5 years, and then that half year that's different, because you're going to have a story that nobody else has. Did you miss some things? Yeah. But if you wallow in that, then the whole experience gets ruined. And I think you have to remember the kids in the hallways, the guys you ate lunch with, the games you went to, the musicals you performed in, the kinds of things that really make up school. The things that we remember about high school, they get smaller and smaller, but they're really the day-to-day things. And I think you need to concentrate on 12 and a half years of great experiences and let the rest of it go.
You can find more information about the upcoming events on Homestead's website. Since most of us are now on an early summer break, good luck to everyone, especially the class of 2020. Ashton?
Hard to believe the school year is already over. All right, Caleb, thank you. As you heard, graduation will take place in July on the football field, and the senior speakers of this year have been hard at work. Here's Carly Flanagan.
This year, Homestead has decided to have 4 student speakers at graduation. Julie Dvorak, Harper Harris, Riley Jones, and Katie Walther all had to go through certain processes to earn this accomplishment.
So we had to submit applications to be in the running to speak at graduation, and we had to write like a narrative essay explaining why we wanted to speak at graduation and why we thought we could represent the class of 2020. And then we also had to submit a version of our speech and a video of us reading that speech to the panel that was deciding.
I personally didn't have to do much because I'm senior class president, so that's kind of a requirement or like a responsibility of being senior class president.
Taking on this role is a big responsibility, which adds pressure to students when applying.
I wanted to be a speaker because I really like writing, I like speaking, and I wanted to have that memory of being a graduation speaker, which I know is something I'll remember for a long time and get to tell my kids about. So I thought it was a cool opportunity.
What did it feel like when you were chosen to be a speaker?
I was pretty surprised because originally they had decided they were going to choose 2 speakers, and then we all got a call from Ginder, and they had decided on doing all 3 of us, and so that was really special.
I already knew like our graduation was going to be so much different than any other year, so I know this would be really impactful. We're also having 4 speakers, and we usually only have 3, so that's also, which makes this like so crazy and unique on top of the graduation being on the football field too.
With the new way of doing graduation this year, with not only 4 speakers, but a 2-day event, it makes planning these speeches even more challenging.
Since we'll have the first half of the alphabet one day and then the second half the next day, we'll still have all of our graduation speakers, as far as we know, go to both days. So that will be a lot of fun to get to see everybody graduate, and we'll still be speaking at both.
Although we may not have a traditional graduation at Homestead, these speakers still have a message that they want to say.
I want to be a little bit inspiring, a little bit funny, and kind of just have a good time. I think if we get to graduate in any sort of ceremony at all, we're all going to be really grateful, and I just want to make that the best day possible for everybody there.
My goal looking forward to speaking is to present my speech well and hopefully connect with the rest of my grade. I hope to help the grade just reminisce on the best times at Homestead and the lessons that we learned here, the friendships that we made, and to bring a whole positive light on just our entire high school experience.
I'd say that my goal for speaking is to have fun with all of the girls who are giving speeches and express my gratitude for all of the teachers and family members and friends who have helped us get to where we are today, and just truly talk about what makes our class so special.
Like the goal I'm trying to get out of that speech is like to people understand their strength and like the control they have over their future, so that when they leave there, they know that you don't have to leave anything up to chance. You can control pretty much everything. And the words of encouragement of sending people off, being like, take the world by storm. We got everything at our fingertips. We just need to do it.
All of these speakers are looking forward to graduation and moving on into college. Congratulations to these ladies, and we wish you luck on your speeches and the rest of your journey. Ashton?
Thank you, Carly. We can't wait to hear the result of all their effort and hard work. When we come back, we turn to how the community is adjusting to Indiana's plan to reopen. There's still a lot more ahead. Don't go anywhere.
This July 8th and 9th, senior graduation will be held in the Homestead High School football field. The last name of A through K will be on day 1 and L through Z on day 2. For friends and family wishing to watch the ceremony, visit Homestead High School Media the day of the specified graduation for a wonderful live stream. And now, back to the show.
As May draws to a close, many people are eager to get back out and return to normal life. But how are local residents feeling about Indiana's reopening plan? Here's Jenna Lane.
Governor Eric Holcomb has released a plan to reopen the state on May 1st, setting us on track to fully reopen by July 4th. Currently, local non-essential travel is allowed, but the state recommends staying home and working remotely whenever possible. What effects do you think reopening could have on the community?
An immediate positive is just the idea of people getting out and back into some type of routine. When we talk about economic flow, like cash flow and things like that, financial, incomes for households, that's great. And I just think my biggest concern is that if things don't go in the right direction, then things could get catastrophic again.
Well, positively, it could help with the small businesses who've been kind of experiencing a lot of tough times right now. Negatively is just the differing opinions that everybody has and the fact that, the virus is still out there, so it could still affect people, but it just depends on whether or not it's the right time.
People are enjoying it because they're feeling like they're back to normal again. People aren't feeling as stressed. They can go back to their job. They're not out of their job. So I think the mental state of people is positive. The negative impact is that we could be spreading it.
Businesses providing essential goods and personal services are open, but there are still many businesses and venues that will remain closed for the time being. In your opinion, what businesses do you think should be allowed to open at this time?
I'm not so sure about things that aren't necessarily necessities like malls or stores that have to do with like clothing or beauty products. But other than that, I feel like essential stores are pretty good to remain open.
I feel that businesses that are able to manage the safety of all of their employees, that have all of the proper PPE and all of the proper safety precautions, should be able to open up right now.
Governor Holcomb's plan has instituted set intervals which will gradually reopen Indiana. Do you think that the state made the right decision in how they went about this?
In my opinion, I don't mind the slow opening because, again, I just fear another shutdown. Then that could really, really cripple the economy and businesses all over again. I'm okay with the opening, but the slower we go, I think just the better for all.
It's just really hard to tell. I think our state is being responsible with how they did it. It made me nervous at first because several states around us weren't opening up, and we were. But at the same time, you look at our economy and you looked at the numbers and you felt that our government tried to make a good, educated decision.
It can be hard to tell what the right thing to do is during this difficult time, but we'll just have to see what the future brings as we move into further stages of reopening. Ashton, back to you.
Hopefully we will make a smooth transition back to normal in the coming months. Thank you, Jenna. As the school year closes, many seniors will lose access to their school Google accounts. With more, here's Alex Peters.
With the school year coming to a close, graduating seniors' Google accounts will be closed. Today, I'll be going over how to get any data you may need in the future backed up. First, make sure you get any files you need out of Google Drive. These files will be deleted when your account is closed, and there is no way to get these files back after this happens. It may be a good idea to download everything from the drive and sort through it later to keep what you need. Next, make sure you save any emails you might need, as these will be deleted as well. A good way to find emails you might want to save is to organize your emails by category. Finally, you should save the files you have in your network folder. To do this, go to aurora.sacs.k12.in.us. Just like Google Drive, you might want to save everything from here and sort through it later to make sure nothing is lost. While it may be tedious, getting everything from your accounts is important to make sure you don't lose anything important from your time at Homestead. If you want an easier method for your personal Google accounts, you can use Google's service, Google Takeout, but this isn't possible on student accounts. This will be the last Tech Talk of the year, so thanks for watching and hopefully you learned something new. I'll see you around. I'm Alex Peters.
Back in April, the MLK Bridge was lit in red and white to honor first responders. This past week, the bridge has been lit yet again, this time to support the graduating class of 2020 with colors of local high schools. From Saturday to last night, all 18 local area high schools received recognition. Many schools are concluding their school years this week or in the coming few. When we come back, we celebrate the teachers finishing their careers. We end today bittersweet as a pair of Homestead teachers prepare to leave their careers for retirement. Here's their story.
I actually was hired in the fall of 1979, and very, very excited. I was 21 years old, just coming out of college. I went to Bowling Green. Actually, the position was all in one inclusive deal, like PE teacher, health teacher, head volleyball, head track. And I remember telling my college roommates, and one of my roommates said, "You're going to get that job." Because it was very much the things that I love to do. I was a collegiate volleyball player, so that was a natural fit. And I looked like I was 16 or 17, so there was that kind of piece to it that I had to kind of convince people, yeah, I belong here as a teacher. But just really special time, and school was very different back in 1979 than it is today, but have great memories of that time.
When I first started at Homestead, so many places didn't exist, like Copper Hill had one house in it. Haverhill was halfway built, I think. Homestead was out in the middle of nowhere.
I have never had a vacation ever in the fall. So one of my first bucket lists was to go to the Northeast and see all the beautiful colors in the fall. We still may be able to do that this fall, but that was first on my list.
I guess free time, but I guess free time excites me, but free time scares me both. In the summer, I'm really excited because I can do lots of stuff during the summer, but I'm really scared about in the winter what I'm going to do all the time.
2/3 of my life I have spent here. And so it is hard to pull the plug, and I will have a void. I know I will, and I know there'll be times that I really, really miss things.
Hopefully I'll come back and I'll still come to basketball games and football games and things like that and see people, but it won't be the same because you're not there every day. It's this last quarter has kind of been like, I guess, pre-retirement, and it's different. I guess I won't have to get on the computer almost every day to see what's going on, but I'll miss people. That's the biggie.
What will I miss most, though, is the relationships, for sure. The not just with the colleagues. I mean, I've got a great department. We get along wonderfully. We're all very like-minded with how we treat kids and the things that we want to accomplish within our department. So that's been wonderful. So I'll miss them, but I know I'm going to stay in touch with them. And but the kids, for sure, the relationships with the kids. I mean, over the years, it's just been amazing to look back and think back and stay in touch with so many different kids across the years. That piece, I'm grateful for social media because it's been fun to see kids I knew as a 14-year-old. Now they're in their 40s. I just saw something on Facebook yesterday where one of my former students turned 51. So yeah. So that piece I'll miss, and certainly coaching. I mean, coaching has been just super, just a great thing. I could get a little emotional talking about that one.
Homestead's Mr. Watkins is also leaving after this school year. Watkins began teaching in 1993. In a statement, he said, "I have loved every minute of teaching with my students. We have had crazy busy schedules for the band, and I look forward to free nights and weekends. I have a travel trailer and look forward to many wonderful nights and weekends of camping. Of course, I will miss all the fun times with the students and miss them tremendously. I also will miss and remember fondly all of the great times with my wonderful colleague, Steve Barber." Congratulations to both Mr. Miller and Mrs. Tiernan, as well as Mr. Watkins, on their retirement. And before we go today, we would just like to say thank you to you, the viewers. This past year has been truly historic for Homestead Media, and your words of encouragement and compliments were greatly appreciated. We saw huge changes with this newscast and will continue to produce a professional and informative show each week this coming school year. We are proud to have been named the 2020 Indiana TV School of the Year, and it wouldn't have been possible without all of you. Now, we may be professional on camera, but there have been plenty of gags and laughs throughout this year. We leave you today with a look back at the year it was behind the camera for Homestead Media. For all of us, I'm Ashton Ackman. Thank you for watching. Congratulations to all seniors and good luck in your future. Have a safe summer. When we come back, you'll get caught up with the scores for our sports teams this week,
as well as a look at the team of the week and the weekend schedule for Spartan Athletics.
I missed. Can I get this recorded and exported? Because I have to. Okay, that's enough. Let's get this show on the road. Are we recording yours? Why are we still recording? Turn on me. Wait, is that still recording? Dinosaur noises.
Others on this sport, the United Flag football team shows us the ins and outs of the program.
I always watching Mike Wazowski.
I'm sorry. Behind me is Fort Wayne's DeBrand Fine Chocolates. Not only... That's a car. Is my hair messed up? You can stop by any of these 4 locations, including the... I'm going crazy. It's the quarantine.
That works. We'll pick one of those. Everyday lives. Out the spring semester course selection form. Be sure to print and keep a potty. Was that okay?
We're supposed to have a conversation.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say! Be sure to choose the online
Oh, girl!
Nisha, shut up. Please go or see Mrs. Hoffer with any questions. Go see or email. Please go see or... And now here is a story on the club created for Homestead serious video game players.
And sports reporter Caleb Wood.
More clubs.
Bruh. Shh. Hello there. I'm gonna hurt you, Tyler. A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. Build the rescue helicopter and save the day.
That's the 3rd box Drew has broke. Drew is white and Chris is blue.
Back in the day when I was a teenager, before I had status and before I have a pager.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
This is Nisha's fault because I was flawless the first time. Mr. Shinkle, Ashton's a problem child.
Specific guest rules. Am I going fast? Did I speed up that time? Slow. Okay. Okay. Ooh, we did it.
Good stop.
Yes.
I feel like you're still taller than me.
What it is all about and what you can expect. Here's reporter Nisha
Sarita! Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Berthel. When I get to failure, I fail.
Gosh, I thought about how I messed up. I'm gonna cry.
Poetry out. Serious.
Are we talking
You've been
right
mean
now?
to me the past couple of days.
Oh, really? Oh,
I should have
cry?
What?
Are you gonna cry?
No.
You can get involved for the next school year. Those.
Are you get involved in it or the are you get involved for the next school?
Of the week for the winter sports season.
They're locked. How do I mess that up?
Because that's what I meant by like. Yeah.
He left the camera on. You want to talk about something funny? camera was on the whole time. There's probably some good material in there.